I want to give people some practical tips about what they can do with AI before it takes over. AI avatars with more followers than real influencers. We have to update the way we do things now. In a matter of minutes between 3 different AI tools, I had an entire map for my business. One thing that is not going to change is human connection.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of our Velocity Sellers podcast. I am your host, Velocity Pete, and today I am joined by former guest, Amy. Thank you so much for coming back on to talk to us about the end of the world we're talking about today. We're going over how AI is going to be controlling us, how we are going to be the ones doing all of the essay writing and math calculations very quickly, and robots are going to be the ones putting their feet up and their robot feet and drinking oil. Maybe from what fiction tells me, I guess. Maybe robot juice. I don't know what they would drink, blended up something. But anyway, we're here to talk about how AI is taking over. But before it takes over, we're going to talk also about how you can use it to better your e-commerce business. So Amy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me again. I had so much fun the last time I was on your show. So I'm excited to be back. And, I think you asked me before we hit the record button if I was willing to talk about AI. And I said, well, of course, I love AI. I'm a total nerd, but I also am a little bit of a doomsday prepper right now because I feel like dystopia is coming and people just don't realize it. So I'm glad that we're both on
Right.
the same side of the fence there. And, I want to give people some practical tips about what they can do with AI before it takes over and,
Yes.
fires them.
Yes. That is the real goal of the episode, but the fun goal is let's talk about how it's going to take over the world. I think we should start there. We should start at the doomsday. What is happening right now with AI, and what have you been seeing that has led you to this conclusion of it? They're going to fire us.
Well, a few years ago, I was in Tony Robbins' mastery program for a couple of years,
Hmm.
and I went to his life mastery and wealth mastery in Fiji.
Nice.
And what I learned there was so much about taking care of your health that I, didn't know before. And I also learned a lot about wealth that I didn't know before, in terms of what the global market is looking like and how to diversify beyond just playing the US stock market, if you will. And it really opened my eyes to what the global economy looked like. And at the same time, a few years ago is when former Google exec Mo Gawdat got on the Diary of CEO podcast. And he talked about how he left Google when he realized that AI was going to be very, very dangerous and or had the potential to be. And he kind of dedicated his work to not only helping people live happier lives because it's very important from that side, but he also um, dedicated his future work to educating people about what's going on with AI. So he 2 years ago on the Diary of a CEO podcast talked about how, basically most of the jobs are going to be gone and it's
Right.
going to happen faster than we think. And the world will be on at least the US will be on a universal basic income.
Hmm.
Um, and that our government is not prepared for this. And some global wealth leaders like Ray Dalio also talked about that. And so, largest
Right.
hedge fund uh, owner, when somebody like Ray says, "Hey, the global collapse is coming. Be prepared."
Right.
Like, he
You
listened.
listen. Right.
Exactly. So, all this stuff kind of happened and I felt weird because I was telling everybody that I knew. I was like, "Hey guys, like you got to prepare yourself. Like, this is coming. This is happening." And anyway, so 2 years later, as I learned all this stuff and a lot of it happens, even
Right.
faster than we thought it would.
Right.
And I see people start AI companies, and then the big AI uh, LLMs are making one update and suddenly making all these companies obsolete, right?
Right.
And this is just happening over and over and over again. Well, like what just happened with Google's Nano Banana. Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? I just did some courses teaching people how to swap out their products,
Right.
and then make a video with that, have the avatar talk, and and you have to manually swap your products out. And now Nano Banana releases with Google, and you just put your product right there, and then
Right.
make a video from that. It's like literally just eliminated all these other tools and all these other steps. So Mo comes back on the Diary of CEO show 2 years later and says, "Yeah, it's even worse now. The timeline is sped up,
Yeah.
and there's not going to be any jobs left. There's not going to be anything. Even CEOs will be replaced. We're just a few months away um from AGI, and
Hmm.
it's really, that's AI that can teach itself." So anyway, this is a long way of Amy saying that I realize and I believe, and I'm actually in some masterminds as well with entrepreneurs who believe we have maybe 2 to 3 years to get as much out of the market as we can before we have some of this collapse. So there's a lot of us just trying to build what we can build while we still have time before it's automated and just drops to like the cheapest level, and then all the wealth is distributed.
Right. I've heard the basic income theory, the UBI or universal basic income theory. I guess maybe not. It might not be a theory for much longer. It might be reality. And it's very scary too. And I 2 years ago, I want to say around this time, what we're talking about here, 2 years ago, I was at ASGTG, and I heard a CEO of a company speak. And I don't want to say his name because he might actually be AI now, and then he might come after me, and I don't want that to happen with his AI powers. But he said that he had reduced his company size from 500 to 160 in 3 months, just because everything was automated. He just used everything, which is everything was just automated, and it was like that. In a few months, it was just there's less than three-fourths of the employees left. I was shocked. I was shocked. My jaw was dropped, and I thought, no, that's not going to happen everywhere. And here we are 2 years later talking about the end of the world because of AI. Like you said, it's replacing everything. If it can replace a CEO at a company, it can replace you. As much as my CEO here, Jake, wants to tell me that we'll never have an AI podcast host, I get a little worried sometimes because of how quickly this stuff is advancing. No, I'm just kidding, Jake. Please don't fire me. I love doing this job. But it's very scary. That's why I'm on the doomsday train as well. Um, I don't see
Yeah.
this ending in anything other than we either just get rid of it altogether. I mean, is do you have a path forward for we don't lose all of our jobs to AI? Is it anything other than just we just agree to stop using it, or is there something else that would eventually come into play there?
I don't think I think that the wealth is already too far. I mean, you think about it, OpenAI has more money than our own government.
Right. Right.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
So I think we're past that point. I think what we can do, our part now is the way that we use AI and the way that we train AI. Because, how wonderful would it be? I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm a hopeful person. I'm a very positive person.
Right.
How wonderful would it be if we can all just, sit on the beach sipping mai tais
Right.
because AI is doing all the work.
Yep.
AI is in the factories doing things, and some thought leaders think that our cost of living is going to be 1/10 of what it is right now because of all the automation. We're seeing the driverless cars. We're seeing the robots that already know how to load your dishwasher or
Mhm.
give you an apple or whatever, and you can buy one of these robots for what, 17 to $19,000. I mean, that's less than a car.
Right.
Um, and then, we think about now Tesla's developing. I just picked up a new Tesla today. I'm a big fan of Tesla. I know all the stuff with Elon going on. Like, I Elon, you're crazy, but you built something cool.
Right.
And and I just sold my other Tesla, and I could not imagine not having a Tesla. But Tesla's building these new driverless cars that basically they'll go out and Uber for you. So you can buy one of these cars, and then you can send it out, and it can go be an Uber for you. And it's like I think the gig economy will change because you'll be able to Send your robot out to do work for you. You'll be able to, I mean, you think about, like, things are just gonna change in a way where we don't expect it. And I think there will still need to be humans and creativity, even though AGI will be able to be even more creative than us because it will
Hmm.
be able to teach itself. But I think that, you know, us think still thinking of new creative ways to do things, new creative things to build, but also, if everything is so cheap and there is enough money, we hope that it will be distributed in a way where we can solve some of the world's problems. I
Yeah.
mean, we can all live longer. We can, if we want to. I don't know.
Right. If that's the case, maybe some people won't after the robots take over, but yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
you're
I
right.
I think I think there can be a positive outlook. My kids are 15 and 18 years old, and they're very much against AI. They're
Mm,
artists, they're writers, and they're very much like my daughter's like, "Mom, I don't care if you can design cool things with AI." Like, and I tried to explain to her, I'm like, "But I it can do the research so much faster. The stuff I don't like to do, it can do it for me. And
right.
then I can do the creative stuff." And she was like, "I don't care, Mom. I'm gonna do it all myself. Step by step. I don't care if it takes me 5 hours. I'm not gonna use AI." So I think our kids, they're not getting it yet. They're really very much against it.
Right.
But then at the same time, people are building these AI avatars and they're getting massive views. There's
Yeah.
AI avatars with more followers than real influencers right now. It's
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
It's a strange world we're coming to, especially again being in the technically being in the Gen Z. Not to age myself to all of the viewers, they already knew that though. But not to being in the Gen Z, it's really weird when you see, people like your children's age that are coming up now that are having to. It's great to hear that they want to do the work themselves because I know a lot of. I feel like a lot of the majority of them are saying, "No, I'm just going to have AI write my essay. Why would I ever write my essay anymore? I don't need to do that." And it's a little scary. You see things online where people are graduating and they're saying, "Oh, I had AI do all of my work, and so I don't even have a degree. It's just really an AI degree, and I'm tapped on
I
there." So, like,
wonder how is education even going to be relevant?
right.
Because if you think about, like, I had a friend whose son just graduated with a computer science degree, I believe it was, and I was like, the new companies aren't even hiring computer
No,
scientists
yeah,
now. Like,
yeah,
I I left a big job in cybersecurity when I became an entrepreneur full time,
right.
and I can't even imagine, like, the work that I could do. I went through so much training. Like, I had so many certifications and so much training, and just the amount I got tired in that job because it was like, the minute you learn something, it's obsolete the next day, right?
Right.
Like, okay, you learned how to hack an iPhone, and the next day what's the point? There's a new exploit out. There's something else, right? But I I can't even imagine now, like, somebody with my knowledge could do the work of 1,000 with an AI tool by my side, and that's what I'm doing now with my businesses, right? I'm doing the work of, my team is doing the work. My what what used to take us, like, 2 weeks to a month to overhaul a web page, now, I mean, I have competitive analysis. Using like Manus agent, I've got the competitive analysis done in a matter of minutes. Um, Full design, full redesign. It'll go out and test it. I sent it out to my website. It tested all the broken links. It identified anything that I said, I want you to act as, conversion optimization specialist. I want you to search, crawl my whole website, see where there might be conversion problems, where there's problems with checkout. Like, now with these agents, you don't even have to give it like one link. It can go out and just do everything. And it found all the
Wow.
issues. And then I told it what I wanted to convert for. It updated my bio, it redesigned the whole thing. And then I just handed that over to my web designer, and he was able to plug and play with all the copywriting done, everything, all the broken links, like, and I didn't even have to hand that over to my web designer because now there are AI web platforms that you can have that website built in 2 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
checkout, cart, e-commerce websites in seconds done. So it's just what you can do now is just really, really incredible. And you wonder, okay, our kids who are going to college for graphic design or
Right.
computer engineering or whatever. I'm not saying education isn't good, but I'm just saying, like, what are their hopes? Like, what is a job like that? Unless you're in the top of your class, unless you're like one of the top professionals in your career. And this is what Mo Gawdat was saying on this last podcast.
Mhm.
Unless you're one of the top, you can't be entry level anymore.
Right.
It's top of the top of using AI to 10x themselves, right?
It's very scary. I have a lot of friends in these spaces that are unfortunately getting that were early stages of getting ripped out or gutted by AI, where they were content writers for blogs or for agencies that write blogs for people. You don't do that anymore. It's not a thing you do anymore unless you're doing it with AI. Unless you're the ones telling AI, hey, you should do this. You don't need a team of people to do that. You need one person to be able to type into a large language model. Hey, I need 6 blogs a day. I need you to continuously print these out for me. Um, it's
Yeah, and I
very yeah.
actually used to be amazing at home. We used to do copyright.
Right.
That was like our thing. Like that's how we got started.
Right.
We did SEO copyright, and I had a team of copywriters that I trained to copyright my way.
Mhm.
And now if you order a listing from me, I do it, but I do it at a level that no other, there was just recently, and I'm not going to name any names, but there was somebody in the business who did a big competition with all the agencies to write their listing and do their A plus content. And it was terrible.
Oh,
The winner was terrible. Like, there was no competitive analysis in there. There was no, like, deep research done. And for me, all that stuff, I'm a super nerd, so all that stuff comes very naturally. The
right.
colors that were used in the branding were just offensive. You could tell none of these agencies had any idea of, like, what goes into branding
Yeah.
and it was like bright orange, and which is enough
Oh,
the most hated color in marketing and branding,
yep.
unless you're like Orange Theory Fitness, right?
Yeah, that's in the name.
So I took one look at this, and I behind the scenes I was like, hey guys, like, I love you, but these listings are terrible, and I would love to rewrite them for you for free. And I did, and I sent them a video of the whole thing, like, and it was like night and day, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, we're gonna update. We're
Yep.
gonna update and use what you did here." But, so now you can still order a listing from me, and I'm gonna use AI to do it, but it is so in-depth, and it is written in a way where AI is going to rank you, and where I understand your avatar at a very deep level, and that connection is going to be made. Because we have to update the way we do things now, right? We can't just use keywords and the same old ways, and maybe we use some AI to write it based on those keyword philosophies. That's all gone now. We really, really have to change the way we do things. So yeah, now I don't have the team of copywriters anymore. If you order a listing from me, I do it, but I'm using AI, and I'm doing it in a way where, no other agency is doing it this way, right? Like, I'm
Right.
just getting in there, and you're gonna have incredible results. Why not?
Yeah.
The AI now is just insane. The what you can do, like, why wouldn't you use that to your advantage?
I wanna be one of the people that says and I try to be online, like when I see things on Twitter that I'm like, "This is so obviously AI, it's dumb. I'm not gonna like this." And I know that's, a big detriment to that person's post or whatever, one person not liking it, but I try to be someone that says, "Okay, I don't wanna use this because it's AI, or I don't wanna take advantage of service," but at the end of the day, you're right, like, it's hard not to when the convenience of it comes super quick, and again, I think it's one of the reasons we go back to say, where's the line? Is there ever gonna be a line? I don't think there is. Um, the only thing I can think of that came to mind when we were talking about also, before I forget this, orange is the least favorite color in you said the least favorable color in marketing? Um,
Yeah, it is the most offensive to people. So it's different if you're selling like vitamin C,
right.
but
Or orange
when
theory, like you said,
people
yeah.
see orange, it's almost like It's kinda like red. Red gives off if it's used in the wrong context, red gives off a very, like, cautionary. It means
Right.
stop. It means caution.
Right.
And so a lot of people use these just bright colors in their marketing, and they haven't studied the brand color wheel, which, if you're trying to do a luxury brand, you should be in the black, white, or silver. Think about Apple's colors. Think about Coco Chanel's colors, like uh, Louis Vuitton's color, those kind of things. If you want to have a luxury brand, then you need to use colors and fonts that align with that. If you want to have a, you know, middle of the range, price range brand, you should be thinking about the colors that are associated with the feelings that people want to feel when they're looking at. So I think a lot of
Love
people,
it.
they don't pay attention to this. They just
Mhm.
get their logo and whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this blue color or whatever." Well, blue is very corporate and trust, as you can see in the
I was to
amazing
say, there you go.
behind me. The Amazing at Home logo was actually designed by a company that does movies, like logos for movies.
Mm.
And so every color in the logo, the little origami bird, the little dot above the eye, which represents how we work with people on an individual basis on their innovation, like everything means something.
Wow.
Um, and it's the same way with branding. So we can't ignore those things anymore, and especially in a world where now, if you're good, if you understand branding, here's the thing about AI.
Mhm.
Anybody anybody who does not have my knowledge in branding, marketing, copywriting, conversions, anybody can go to Chat GPT and go write my Amazon listing. You're gonna get the results that these top agencies got, which is
Yep.
just mediocre, right? But if you actually understand the brand color wheel and you understand the avatar and you understand how to do competitive analysis and how to prompt for it, you can build you can use multiple different tools and you can build an incredible result that you would have paid, $100,000 between all these different experts for. But it does require you to have that knowledge because otherwise you don't know how to prompt the AI, and simply copying and pasting. I think this is something that people forget. If your AI knows you, so
Mhm.
if I give you a prompt and you copy and paste that prompt into your AI, whatever it is, Claude, ChatGPT, whatever,
Right.
you're gonna get a different result than me. Every person,
Right.
because AI is very personalized. It knows you, it's gonna talk to you the way that the with conversations that you've had with it. So that's the thing is that's why when Mo was talking about how, the top experts are still gonna have jobs, because if you have that knowledge, you know how to get better results out of the AI.
Right.
So I think that it's very misleading to think that just anyone can get, top level results. But what is scary is if you understand how these tools work. So Notebook LM, have you played with that yet?
A little bit. I try to keep up with all of them, so I've a little bit, but not in depth.
So Notebook LM, it focuses only on the sources that you give it, right? So I wanted to build an N8N automation for basically to go into my email box. I've tried all these different AI tools, Ellie AI, Lindy, Superhuman, and none of them worked for my inbox. I wanted something that filters my inbox like my executive assistant would.
Right.
Like, I want it to be smart. I want it to pre-read my emails. I want it to do all this. I want to set up all the triggers. And so I learned that I could use N8N to do that, but I'm not a coder. I don't do that stuff, right?
Right.
Um, so I first went to ChatGPT and was like, "Hey, based on what you know about me and my businesses, what do you think I should automate?" And then I gave it feedback from that, was like, "Okay, I would like to automate my inbox first, but I wanted to do this, this, and this. And I don't have a lot of coding skills. So what do you recommend? And I don't want to spend a lot of money. I don't want a membership to make.com that's going to cost, so much money based on my number of automations. And so it was like, well, N8N, you can host your own server, you can do it for free. And yes, it does require a little bit of knowledge, but here would be kind of some of the steps. So then what I did is I took that conversation and I went into Notebook LM and I put in Notebook LM, you can put all these different sources. You can put websites. So I put my website, amazingandhome.com, right? Because it can read that and understand everything about my website. And then I put copied and pasted because you can copy and paste text in there. The conversation that I had with ChatGPT about the automations, what
Mhm.
I wanted to automate, copy and pasted the whole thing in there as a source. Then I went out to YouTube and I could have done this with Manus too. I could have told Manus what I was trying to do and tell it, give me a list of the top YouTube videos that would cover this.
Right.
But for this one, I just went myself and researched N8N training. And there's all this like step by step, like here's how you do it. Here's how you do your own server, like 5-hour training free on YouTube. I don't want to watch all that. Forget it. You don't have to anymore.
Yeah, why would you?
Notebook LM will take YouTube videos as a source and it will literally transcribe every single one of them and put it into its knowledge base. So now it knows I want to automate, it knows what my website is, and it has all this training that I've now fed it as sources. And I'm like, okay, then you get to chat with it. And I was like, all right, this is what I want to build. I want you to give me step by step instructions on how to build this exact automation with these triggers in my inbox. And it literally just spit out everything step by step. The difference is if I had put that into ChatGPT, it would hallucinate. It's wrong all the time. Oh yeah, this works, and here's how you sign up for this. Here's how you do this. It's gonna hallucinate. Notebook LM, it only uses those sources. So somebody in the Nick Paneb did a hacks competition the other day, and I
Mhm.
didn't want to have time. I didn't want to watch it. It seemed cool. He was sending all these emails of,
Right.
"Oh, this vote for this hack, vote for this one. This was cool." So I just put that video, the whole hacks video, into Notebook LM, and I was like, "Give me a briefing guide of exactly all these hacks."
Right.
And then I gave it my website, and I was like, "All right, which ones are relevant to me?"
Yeah.
And it literally spit out, like, step by step, I didn't even have to watch the video. It showed me it said, "Danon Coleman showed you how to do reviews this way. Here's the steps. This person did this." So I had a guide right there, never had to watch the video. And then you can add other sources that you can then tell it, "Okay, now take this
Right.
information and apply it to my business. Here's the source." And so it's just dude, it's
Scary.
incredible.
So
It's
for being someone a part of the doomsday train, you seem to want to give a lot of information over to AI and to help it take over the world, Amy.
Yeah, I
No,
know, I know.
but
It's a toss up, Pete. Like it's hard, because
yeah,
I'm on the train or off the train, I don't know, but
right. But like you said earlier, what are you supposed to do? I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, maybe you could sit there and watch the 5 hour long video YouTube tutorial, but you don't need all 5 hours of that information. Maybe someone does, but for most people, don't need all that information. So, like I said, I do use AI in my work. I use it to automate some things, and it it it's easier. It frees me up to do more things that I don't want to pass off to AI, which is maybe going to be shortening. The list is going to be shortening slowly and surely. Um,
yeah, I think a lot of people are still like on Chat GPT and they don't I mean, I love Chat GPT, don't get me wrong, I still use it. But I think a lot of people are stuck on that and they're not realizing the capability of something like, for example, Manus
Mhm.
to literally go out for you and do all of this research and you can watch it work. Um, you know, I can't I had this aha moment the other day. I wanted to learn something besides the N8N thing that I did. I wanted to learn I saw this guy posting about how he like grew on Facebook with text basically posts and he was selling all this training but he had posted a ton of free content on how to do this. And so I basically used one tool to research all of the content, do deep research on all the content he ever put out and like build a guide from it. And then I pulled those links and everything into Notebook LM because I only wanted to reference those sources. And basically, and then I had it tailored to my business and my content. And essentially, I would have had to pay that guy for his exact strategy.
Right.
I would have probably had to pay him $10,000 for that level of information to tailor it to my business, and it would probably have taken hours and hours of consulting with him.
Yeah.
And in a matter of minutes between 3 different AI tools, I had an entire map for my business. And that's what scares me as, I'm a consultant. I help people with this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I put a ton of content. We're putting content out right now,
Right.
everybody, right?
Yeah.
Why pay me if you're smart enough with these models to just pull all the podcasts I've ever done and just like you could do it in a matter of minutes now.
Right.
And you don't need to consult with me, right? Why pay me? So it's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. It's kinda scary. It's kinda scary to see where we'll be. I mean, this was I don't think this was a thought maybe 5 maybe some people thought this, but this wasn't the overwhelming majority of thought 5, 6 years ago, I would say. And, I wasn't, big in the Amazon space then, but I was big in the tech space a little bit and knowing keeping up with the trends, I should say, more so than tech. But, this wasn't people were saying AI is coming, you're gonna be able to ask it things, and it's gonna be able to respond to you instantly. And now it's you can run businesses with AI, and it's a crazy jump. I mean, you think about and again, I hate to compare it to human beings because it's obviously it's not like a living thing, but maybe it will be eventually. I've seen enough movies to consider it a possibility. But you think about how long we took to get from the Stone Age to the Bronze Age to modern society, even from all the leaps we made from, the Industrial Revolution to again still modern era. It's crazy to see how fast this AI hive brain thing is evolving. It's very scary, but like we say, it's what are you supposed to do? What are you just not going to use it? Your competitors are using it. You're not going to use it?
And I think what people should focus on is, if I can say what I'm doing, I'm building my next brand. So I exited my brand last year, my pet brand, and I'm building another brand because me as a consultant, yeah, like I might not have work for much longer because people, they can just pull my content, they can do whatever,
Right.
and cool, but I'm not going to rely on that. But if you think about from an e-commerce perspective, people are still going to need to buy things. Now, the types of things that they buy might be changed or reduced over time. They might be automated. At Southern Seller Fest in Singapore this last year, I talked about like the future. What is
Mhm.
the future going to be like when, let's say, you're a shoe brand and now Nike at the mall literally, you know, or even on their website, it knows you. It's an AI that knows you and it designs a shoe just for you and it prints it out right there. Like, you know, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
So products are going to change, but brands can still be built
Mhm.
and people are still going to buy things. So I believe that being a brand owner, and yes, you do need to stay on top of like you need to stay on top of the way things are changing, the way things are
Mhm.
selling. This morning I coach on Mondays and Tuesdays, and this morning I was on a coaching call with a client, and man, I didn't even recognize the Amazon campaign dashboard anymore. I'm like, geez, when did that
Yeah.
tab come there? Everything changes every 5 seconds, right?
Right.
So things are changing very rapidly, but one thing that is not going to change is human connection.
Mhm.
Buying is still a very psychological process and it will remain that way. And no matter how much our AI knows us and whether or not our products are going to be recommended by our AI, but if you are a brand owner selling products and you understand your avatar and you created an experience for them and a loyalty for them, you will continue to thrive. And a product-based brand is one of the best assets you can build right now, in my opinion, because as long as you're staying on top of it and you're evolving,
Mhm.
that is an asset. You're not trading your time for money, like you are in the service-based industry where we see Amazon making changes,
Right.
TikTok making changes to ads now, where everything's done with AI. Meta now is doing things with
Yeah.
AI. So it's literally replacing PPC software and advertising agencies. So when we think about agency work, that's going to slow down and it's going to eventually probably be replaced. Um, but when we think about product based brands, and people building those. And I mean, guys, you can develop products with AI. I just did a workshop
Right.
on my website about how I designed a product for manufacturability and protectability.
Hmm.
And then I did a full patent search. I filed the patent myself, everything using AI. So we're cutting out the IP. I mean, I'm not saying skip the lawyers, guys, but it's very powerful, you
Yeah.
know? So I believe that the future is actually it's going to be very strong for brand owners. And so if there's one thing that you take away from this doomsday prep that Pete and I have been talking about, it's that building brands, product-based brands is one of the best assets you can build right now, one of the best things that you can do because even if you lose your job or if your agency doesn't work anymore, people will still need to buy things. And as long as you evolve, you're going to be able to build products faster, cheaper, and you're going to be the one with that knowledge and that experience and those connections to deliver that.
Right. This has been very scary. Great conversation. Very scary. It's like a good movie, a good scary movie. Um, Amy, I want to thank you for coming back on. I think we wrap it there. I don't know how much more of this doomsday conversation I can take at the moment on a Tuesday in September. But I really want to thank you for coming on and talking to me about this. I knew this was going to be a great discussion. And I was right. It's just a scary discussion, but a great one at the same time. So, any that was a really good final thought. But do you have any other final thoughts for how people can really wrap their minds around the AI and how they can better, like you said, like we said, kind of better prepare themselves for this doomsday, so they're not being swallowed up by the wave. They're riding it.
I would say just, I've talked about using a lot of different tools and the way that you use it and everything, but I would say still stay focused on your outcomes. What are the things that you want? And don't get caught up in the, oh my gosh, I have to keep up with everything. I have to know every tool. I have to subscribe to everything because then you're going to have, you're going to go backwards. You're going to take 2 steps back. So I would just encourage people still focus on your outcomes, still focus on what you want for your brand, and then discover the processes that are going to help you do that faster and better with AI. But I think at the end of the day, as I mentioned, the customer connection is still the most important thing that you can build and building those brand assets. So yeah, and if anybody has any questions for me, they can find me at amazingathome.com. I have a new cool thing that is AI designed on my website, on my homepage. It's called Ask Amy.
Oh,
So if you have a burning question about AI or anything else, or what you should do with a specific business situation, you can go to amazingathome.com and just scroll down. And there's this little Ask Amy feature. And you just fill out the little form and it comes over here to yours truly. And I'll send you a little video of what I think about your question. And yeah, so I mean, fun stuff, Pete.
very
Thanks for having.
cool. Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming back on. And I will have the Amazing at Home website linked down below, as well as Amy's LinkedIn. Make sure you connect with her. It's to keep updated with all of the Doomsday AI, as well as some of the good stuff along with AI. I like her posts a lot. That's how I knew to reach back out and say, hey, let's get an episode going. So if you have a podcast, and no, kidding. But one last thing I want to mention is the reason I brought up the orange is because I don't know if you're a baseball fan, but the New York Mets, who stink, and I hate them because I'm a Phillies fan, their primary colors are blue and orange. Bright, ugly, gross orange. So that's why I had to bring that up. I forgot to mention that in the moment, but I just wanted to finish with the Mets stink and go Phillies. And it is this actually we'll probably save this episode for closer to Halloween because it's so scary. So this will be right around when the Phillies are winning the World Series, knock on wood, and that'll be great. So, but Amy, in all seriousness, in all AI seriousness, thank you so much for talking to me again today.
Thanks for having me, Pete.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Yes. Thank you all for watching and listening. I'm your host, Velocity Pete, and we will see you next week.